and welcome back to Modern ETV. I'm Jemana and I'm here to bring you projects and crafts to brighten your Ramadan all month long. Today we are making a beautiful moon phase hanging that you could use as a countdown or just as art all year long. So to make your moon phase hanging, here's what you're going to need. You're going to need some craft paint. You will need some stencil pouncer brushes. You will need a piece of fabric in the color of your choice. You will need a template that we have provided for you. You will need something to protect your work surface. You will also need a dowel for creating the hanging and a glue gun. Okay, so to get started, you are going to prepare your fabric. What I did is I bought what is called a fat quarter, and I actually cut it in half to create one piece that's about 18 by 20 inches long, and iron it out if it got any wrinkles. The first thing you should do is, once you've got your fabric ready, is follow the link below or on our website to download the free template that's going to help you mark out where all of your lunar phases are going to go. Print out the template, tape it together. It will probably need about 4 or 5 sheets of paper in order to get the entire thing to fit on. And then what you're going to do is you're going to take a pencil and you're just going to poke a hole at the little dot in the center for each circle. So you're going to poke a hole through each circle. Then you're going to take your template and you are going to center it onto your fabric. Okay. Once you've laid out your template onto your fabric and you've got it all centered, you're going to take a piece of chalk and you're just going to put a little dot in the middle, right into that hole that you poked in each circle. So what this essentially will do is it will create a grid of 30 dots, and then you'll know exactly where you're going to paint your little moons. Okay, so what I also did is I took a 2-inch hole punch and I punched a hole in a piece of cardstock or heavy paper. This is going to become your stencil. If you don't have a hole punch, what you can do is you can take a 2-inch cookie cutter, trace it on a piece of paper, and then cut that circle out, but you need to create like a little stencil for you to do your little moons. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to take your stencil, you're going to find your first little dot, and you are just going to kind of center it right over that dot. So that dot is right in around the middle. You can eyeball it. It's okay. This is supposed to look a little rustic, a little homemade. So if it's not perfect, it's totally fine. It actually adds to the charm. You want to take your craft paint, and I'm using this Martha Stewart Pearl 1. It's multi-surface, so it'll be fine on fabric. You're not washing this, so it will last. And then just shoot a little bit out onto a little plate. I'm using the lid of something here. You're going to take your little stencil pouncer, which has this flat bottom. I'm using the smallest one. And you're just going to apply a very light amount of paint to it. So dip it in the paint, and then in another area just kind of pounce it a little bit to get the extra off. So you're creating the different moon phases. So as you progress from day 1 to day 30, the crescent's going to get a little bigger, bigger, bigger. Around I believe it's like the 15th day, it's a full moon, and then it's going to get smaller, smaller, smaller until you get to the 30th day, which is the end of the month, or 8. So to make the first one, you want to pounce mostly onto the stencil, but let a little bit land onto your fabric. It's okay if you've got little splotches. That actually lends to the moon-like look. You know, if you look up at the moon, it does look a little mottled. So actually creating splotches is good. That's what you want to happen. Once you've done your first one, pick up your stencil straight up, go over to your next dot, center it, and make your next one, which is going to be basically the same action you just did. You're going to make it ever so slightly bigger. Straight up, and then move over. You're going to continue doing this all the way till you get to the end, progressively adding a little more and more and more. That's pretty much it. Just be careful as you're moving it. You definitely want to pick it straight up. You don't want to move this around as you're pouncing, or you'll get it going underneath and not creating that pretty moon-like effect. Your phases are completely dry, your paint is dry. You can take a wet rag or paper towel and kind of pick up all the little chalk circles, little dots that you had marked before. to erase them. When you're all done and your paint has dried, definitely wait for the paint to dry. Then you're going to take a dowel that also you can pick up at a craft store, and you're going to flip over just the top portion of your hanging and lay the dowel down. And with a little bit of hot glue, you are going to glue the hanging over the fabric over the dowel, so that way you have a way to hang it, right? So when you're all done, it will look something like this. You've got your 30 moons, you've got your dowel in place. I took a piece of ribbon that I tied to each part of my dowel so I can actually hang it on the wall. I didn't finish the edges. If you are really skilled with the sewing area, you could definitely sew the edges. I left it rough. It kind of goes with its rustic handmade nature. So that's what I'm going to tell myself, to keep those rough edges. And then you can hang it up. If you want, you could use it as a countdown. You can get like a star pin and, you know, move it each day throughout Ramadan, or you could just leave it as is. It's really beautiful. It's something that would work amazingly in a nursery if you have a baby. But it's, you know, you can keep it up all year long. It's pretty. And that's it. Thank you for joining us. I hope you enjoyed making this moon phase hanging that you can keep up all year long. And be sure to tune in next time to catch the next project. And we'll see you then. Bye. Be sure to follow Modern Eat on Facebook and Pinterest and Instagram. And we tweet occasionally. And we'll see you next time. Bye. Forgot what else I was going to say. Sharpened pencil would be nice. And a glue gun. That darn glue gun. Oh, there it is. The water is good.